Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I am posting this video on Thursday, March 23rd, I believe. And if you are watching this, I am currently in Miami, Florida. My husband and I are down there for Ultra Music Festival, and we are also staying a few days after for a little vacation. So I don't know that I'll be posting videos on this channel until I get back. I may, if it rains and we're in the room or something like that, I may just decide to film a couple videos. I will be filming videos on my drama channel and on my vlog, so if you want to keep up with me, and I may film a video over here or over there every once in a while, so just keep up, but I will definitely be back on this channel once I get back. So, just wanted to let you guys know that, and I am pre-filming this video on Wednesday so that I will have this video to post on Thursday, because I wanted to let you guys know in case you were like, where's Peter? He hasn't posted a video in quite a few days. So anyway, let's get right into the meditations today. I brought the two Melody Beatty books with me. I haven't looked at the meditations for today, or tomorrow. So the meditations for tomorrow, let's see, March 23rd. Let's see what the universe is going to speak to us about tomorrow. All right, March 20th. Oh, to it. Flack from setting boundaries. Oh, this will be a good one. Okay, let's read this one, because this is something that my friend Tanya and I talk about all the time. Flack from setting boundaries, March 23rd. We need to know how far we'll go and how far we'll allow others to go with us. Once we understand this, we can go anywhere, from beyond codependency. When we own our power to take care of ourselves, set a boundary, say no, change an old pattern, we may get flack from some people. That's okay. We don't have to let their reactions control us, stop us, or influence our decision to take care of ourselves. We don't have to control their reactions to our process of self-care. That is not our responsibility. We don't have to expect them not to react either. People will react when we do things differently or take assertive action to nurture ourselves, particularly if our decision in some way affects them. Let them have their feelings. Let them have their reactions, but continue on your course anyway. If people are used to us behaving in a certain way, they'll attempt to convince us to stay that way to avoid changing the system. If people are used to us saying yes all the time, they may start mumbling and murmuring when we say no. If people are used to us taking care of their responsibilities, feelings, and problems, they may give us some flack when we stop. That's normal. We can learn to live with a little flack in the name of healthy self-care. Not abuse, mind you. Flack. If people are used to controlling us through guilt, bullying, and badgering, they may intensify their efforts when we change and refuse to be controlled. That's okay. That's flack too. We don't have to let flack pull us back into old ways if we've decided we want and need to change. We don't have to react to flack or give it much attention. It doesn't deserve it. It will die down. Today I will disregard any flack I receive for changing my behaviors or making other efforts to be myself. And I think it's such a fantastic meditation, I really do. And like I said, it's something that my friend Tanya and I talk about all the time. You know, in the last couple years, our learning to set boundaries has been something that we have both been trying to, achieve and grow into and things like that. I have found in my life that people don't necessarily like when I set boundaries. And people often get confused when I say things like, well, you have to set boundaries in your life or setting boundaries. They're like, well, what do you mean by that? What does that mean to set a boundary, And it doesn't necessarily mean that you hold up a sign and you say to the world, I'm setting boundaries now, or my boundary is that I no longer will accept negativity in my life. It just means that, like, to yourself, you kind of know that you are not willing to accept those things anymore. So, for example, if you have someone in your life that, like, every time you interact with them, they're miserable or negative or whatever, it's like, and you said things to them about, like, hey, listen, I'm so happy to have you in my life, but, like, every time we interact, it's like, there's no gratitude, there's, like, it kind of brings me down a little bit, like, hey, can I help you? Or, hey, can we help with some gratitude or whatever? And, like, you've had that conversation with them time and time again. And you don't even have to have that conversation with them. You are your own person, okay? As Boo Radley, my dog, says. You are your own person. You have a right to set a boundary and not explain it to anybody. But let's just say if you did, right? And so you say it, and then there comes a time finally when you just have to be like, this relationship is not healthy for me in my life anymore, right? And it doesn't just have to be with like negativity or toxicity, because I think toxicity is something else too, you know? When you have a lot of toxicity in your life, and by toxicity, I mean, you know, you have people that are doing things in your life, whether, you know, it be unhealthy behaviors or whatever, and then that can be like drug use and alcoholism and things like that. You have to set some healthy boundaries for allowing that toxicity, because it's invading your space. It's invading your healthy space, right? And that might mean that you say to people like, you know, like, you just stop going out to dinner with people, or you don't invite them over to your house anymore, right? Or when they speak on certain topics, like this is a big one, right? I think it's like have you ever felt a certain way about something, or you feel, you know, I love the quote from the movie The Contender, that principles only mean something if you stick to them when they're inconvenient. And that means that, not that you don't pick your battles, okay? But that means that when people say things, right, and you're standing your ground, like, okay, for example, for years, I worked, you know, I wouldn't say for years, but there were a few people that I worked around. And I mean, by a few, I mean like maybe two, okay, that would make inappropriate gay jokes. And because they were men, I just kind of wouldn't say anything. You know, I just kind of be like, and they knew I was gay, right? And I would just kind of laugh along with it. Until kind of like one day I was like, you know, I don't think that that's funny anymore. And I was like, I'm not going to go along with the joke when I am the joke. And that's part of it, is standing up for your belief system and standing up for what you say. People do not like it when we set boundaries and limits like that. What's wrong with you? You can't handle a joke? What's wrong with it? You can't laugh? It's just a joke, you know? And I think that there was, I can't remember who said it, but it's like somebody was talking about, you know, when people make jokes about, and it's like, it's almost kind of like they're looking right at you and they're making the joke about you. And when you're like, oh my God, like this joke is about who I am as a person. And then when they realize that they offended you, they say, oh, I'm just joking. And you're like, well, I'm not laughing, you know, and it's not funny. And, you know, I did that for a long time because my level of insecurity, my level of awkwardness, you know, and I'm not just talking about my being gay and other people making gay jokes. I'm talking about whatever my belief system is, that often I didn't stand up for how I felt or what I thought was right, because I was afraid that if I said something, I might offend somebody else, or I was in their home and so I didn't want them to be uncomfortable, or they were in mine or whatever. I don't do that today, you know? My mother raised me that if you said negative or offensive things or oppressive things in her home, she asked you to leave. Like, I look back on that and I think about that. And, you know, and I don't even know where she came up with that, right? But like, I don't even really remember many instances where it happened. But like, I just think about, you know, like that's a boundary that you set. Now, you know, when Tanya and I talk about it, it's like whenever we set boundaries with people, or, you know, people all of a sudden are like, you've changed, you know, and it reminds me of the song by Judy Collins, and Joni Mitchell sings it too. And I actually prefer the Joni Mitchell live version. But the song, Both Sides Now, you know, I don't have my phone over there because I'm uploading a video, but the last verse of the song says, you know, something to the effect, you know, that old friends say that I've changed, that I'm acting strange. And I think that that's what happens over time, is that when we start taking care of ourselves, and by taking care of ourselves, what we realize is to truly love myself, and I have to set boundaries for myself. I have to say, I'm not going to allow this in my life anymore. I'm not going to allow somebody to talk to me this way, you know? I'm not going to, you know, let this happen. Years ago, I was talking actually to Tanya about somebody, this has been, I don't know, 10 years ago now, but like I was talking to Tanya about somebody in my life, and she said, I don't understand why you let this person talk to you that way when you wouldn't let anybody else in your life talk to you that way. And it was so jolting to me, because I was like, oh my God, like she's absolutely right. Like I would never let anybody else talk to me this way. Why is it? And it was really out of fear. It was fear of losing that relationship, you know? And the reality is that over time, that relationship kind of faded, and not because of me. And, you know, I look back on that and I think, I'm doing just fine, you know? But I didn't stand up for myself at the time. When we stand up for ourselves and we start taking care of ourselves and we set boundaries and limits for other people, they don't like it, because sometimes people want to put us in a box and put us on a shelf and have us there, and they know what to expect from us, you know? And then when we start coming out of that and we start challenging that, they don't know what to do with it, and it's uncomfortable for them. And then they have to ask themselves, well, if this person's changing or if Peter's changing, what do I do? Like, what's wrong with me? Do I need to change? And God forbid we make anybody else uncomfortable, you know? know. But I don't care today, you know. If somebody else is uncomfortable, like it said in here about let them have their reaction, let them have their reaction. That's their life. That's their business. That's their stuff. They need to take care of their stuff, and I need to take care of mine. So anyway, I think it's a fantastic meditation. Let me know what you guys think about that. And yeah, I will be back over here when we get back from vacation. And I will miss you guys, and I love you, and I will see you then.